So here's the thing about being told you're incapable. Sometimes you start to believe it. I'm sitting in my apartment right now, the one I wasn't supposed to be able to afford. Drinking coffee I picked out myself from a local roaster. And I cannot stop laughing at how much energy I wasted on someone who genuinely thought I'd collapse without him. 18 months ago? Different story. It was a Thursday in late March when Marcus said it out loud for the first time. We were in his car, that gray Honda he was always weirdly precious about, parked outside my office building after lunch. The afternoon sun was doing that thing where it hits the windshield at the exact angle to make you squint, and I remember thinking I needed to get those polarized sunglasses. He had one hand on the steering wheel, the other gesturing while he talked, and he just said it. You know you'd be completely lost without me, right? He said it like he was commenting on the weather. Casual, matter of fact. I laughed. Like actually laughed, because surely he was joking. What? I'm serious, babe. He turned to look at me, and his expression was so earnest. Who helps you figure out your taxes? Who fixed your car situation last month? Who deals with your landlord when there's an issue? He counted on his fingers. You're brilliant at your job, don't get me wrong. But real life stuff? You need someone who can handle that. The thing is, I didn't have a good response ready. Because he had helped with those things. He'd offered, actually, insisted really, and I'd been grateful. It felt nice to have someone take care of the boring adult stuff while I focused on my graphic design work. I muttered something like, I managed fine before you, but even as I said it, I felt defensive, uncertain. He kissed my forehead. Hey, I'm not saying it as a bad thing. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Yours is just practical life stuff. That's okay. I went back to work with this weird knot in my stomach. Sat at my desk with the hum of the air conditioning and the clicking of my coworker Devin's mechanical keyboard, and I couldn't focus on the logo redesign in front of me. My coffee had gone cold in that to-go cup with the plastic lid that never quite seals right. Looking back, I should have recognized the pattern starting. But you don't, do you? When you're in it? Over the next few months, it became his favorite thing to reference. We'd be at dinner with friends, this loud sports bar in downtown, the kind with too many TVs and sticky floors, and someone would mention planning a trip. Marcus would jump in with, "Oh, I'll help coordinate. You know how she is with logistics." Big smile, affectionate tone. Everyone would laugh, including me, because what else do you do? My best friend Riley started noticing before I did. We were at her place on a Sunday afternoon in June, sprawled on her couch with the windows open because her AC was broken. She was scrolling through her phone, and I was telling her about how Marcus had taken over planning my sister's birthday dinner because someone needed to actually make the reservations. Riley put her phone down, just set it on the coffee table with that deliberate movement that meant she was about to say something I wouldn't want to hear. Does he always talk about you like you're incompetent? What? No. I shifted, pulling my legs up under me. He's just helping. Helping is when you offer assistance. This is different. She picked at a thread on the couch cushion. He's always making these little comments about what you can't do. Have you noticed? I had noticed. Of course I had. But noticing and acknowledging are different things, aren't they? He's right, though, I said, and hearing myself say it out loud made something in my chest feel tight. I'm not great at that stuff. The adulting stuff. Riley gave me this look. Eyebrows raised, head tilted, the universal signal for, "Are you hearing yourself right now?" But she didn't push it. Just said, okay, in a way that clearly meant it wasn't okay. The thing about gradual erosion is you don't notice the shape of the hole until you're standing in it. By August, I was running everything by Marcus. Should I take that freelance project? What should I order at restaurants? Did this email to my boss sound professional enough? He had opinions on all of it, delivered with that same helpful, slightly condescending tone. You're overthinking it, babe. Let me handle it. That's not really your style, trust me. You're going to stress yourself out. Just do what I suggested. My coworker Devin cornered me one day in the break room. We were waiting for the coffee maker to finish its loud, sputtering cycle, and she was eating pretzels from a bag she kept in her desk. Can I ask you something without you getting defensive? I immediately got defensive. Sure. Why does your boyfriend text you to ask what you're ordering for lunch? I'd shown her the text chain earlier. Marcus checking in about my sweet green order, suggesting I get extra protein because you always forget to eat enough. He's just attentive? Devin crunched a pretzel thoughtfully. He texts you like you're his child, not his girlfriend. You're 29 years old and you've been living on your own since college. You know how to feed yourself. She said it gently, but it landed like a slap. I stood there with the coffee pot dripping into my mug, thinking about all the decisions I used to make without consulting anyone. When did I stop trusting my own judgment? That night, I tried to bring it up with Marcus. We were at his apartment, the nicer one with the exposed brick he always made sure people noticed, and he was cooking dinner. Pasta, because he'd decided earlier that week I needed more carbs in my diet. Hey, so, Devin said something kind of weird today, yeah? He didn't look up from the pot he was stirring. She thinks you're maybe, I don't know, too involved in my daily decisions. Now he looked up. Put down the wooden spoon very deliberately. Too involved? In making sure my girlfriend is taken care of? I didn't say I agreed with her, Devin. He said her name like it tasted bad. The same Devin who's been divorced twice and lives with her mom at 35? She doesn't live with her mom. She's helping her mom after her surgery. Right, and she's giving relationship advice. He turned back to the stove. Babe, people who don't have their lives together always want to drag down people who do. She probably just doesn't like that you have someone who actually cares about you. I didn't bring it up again. But here's the thing about seeds of doubt. Once they're planted, they start growing whether you water them or not. I found myself testing things. Small things at first. I made a lunch decision without texting him. Ordered Thai food. The spicy basil chicken I actually liked, not the pad Thai he always insisted was safer for my stomach. Nothing happened. The world didn't end. My stomach was fine. I booked a dentist appointment without asking if the time worked with his schedule. Went by myself, even though he'd been coming with me to help communicate with the dentist because I always forgot to ask the right questions. Then bigger things. I fixed my own credit card issue, called the bank myself, dealt with the automated system, got it sorted in 15 minutes. Marcus had been handling all my financial calls because he said he spoke their language better. Turns out I speak it fine. It was a Tuesday in October when everything crystallized. I'd spent the morning dealing with a leak under my kitchen sink, called the landlord myself, explained the problem clearly, arranged for the plumber to come Thursday afternoon. Fixed the immediate drip with towels and a strategically placed bucket. Marcus came over that evening, saw my setup, and immediately got frustrated. Why didn't you call me? I could have handled this properly. I did handle it properly. I was at my dining table with my laptop, working on a client presentation. The lamp beside me was the one I'd picked out last month, without his input, and I really liked it. You put towels under a leak. That's not handling it, that's a Band-Aid. And I called the landlord. The plumber's coming Thursday. He sat down across from me, and I could see him choosing his words. I just worry that you don't understand how serious these things can get. Water damage is expensive. You could have flooded the apartment. Something in me snapped. Not dramatically, more like a guitar string that's been tuned too tight finally breaking. Quiet, but definitive. Marcus, I'm a 30-year-old woman with a college degree and a successful career. I've been handling leaks, plumbers, and life in general since before I met you. No, let me finish. My heart was pounding, but my voice stayed steady. You've been telling me for over a year that I'm incompetent, that I can't handle basic adult tasks, that I need you to survive. I never said you couldn't survive. You've said it probably 50 times. I pulled out my phone, the one I'd started screenshotting conversations on a few weeks ago, when Riley's words kept echoing in my head. Do you want me to read them? The look on his face. That moment when someone realizes you've been paying attention? That's manipulative, he said. Keeping screenshots of our conversations. Is it? Or is it documentation? I turned my laptop screen toward him. I'd been keeping a list. Just dates and examples, nothing dramatic. Just evidence. September 3rd. You'd forget your head if I wasn't around to remind you. September 18th. Good thing you have me to handle the grown-up stuff. October 2nd. Don't worry, babe. You're creative. Not everyone can be practical. The list went on. 23 separate incidents where he'd undermined my capability. He stared at it. The heating unit in my apartment kicked on, making that low humming sound, and outside someone's car alarm chirped twice. You're twisting everything, he said finally. I was being supportive. Support builds people up. You've been systematically convincing me I'm helpless. Because you are. It burst out of him loud enough that I blinked. He seemed surprised by his own volume but didn't take it back. You can't handle conflict, you avoid phone calls, you let people walk all over you at work. You're talented, yeah, but you need someone to manage the real-world stuff. That's just reality. And there it was. The actual truth, without the gentle wrapping. I need you to leave, I said quietly. Come on, don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm asking you to leave my apartment that I pay for, with the job I maintain, in the city I moved to by myself at 23. I stood up. You can go now. He didn't move immediately. Sat there like he was waiting for me to crack, to backtrack, to apologize for overreacting. The same way I always had before. I walked to the door and opened it. Held it. Waited. He stood up slowly, grabbed his jacket from my couch. Paused at the door like he was going to say something that would fix it. But what could he say? I'd heard him. Really heard him, maybe for the first time. You're making a mistake, he said. Probably not my first. I kept my hand on the door. I'll manage, though. Turns out I'm pretty good at handling mistakes. He left. I closed the door, turned the deadbolt, the one I'd installed myself last year, before he'd convinced me I needed him to do everything. And I stood there in my quiet apartment. Then I ordered Thai food. The spicy kind. The next few weeks were weird. Like genuinely disorienting weird. I kept reaching for my phone to text him about decisions, then stopping myself. It took about 3 days to realize how many times a day I'd been asking his permission to exist. Riley came over that first weekend, brought wine and takeout, and sat with me while I alternated between feeling relieved and terrified. What if he's right? I said at one point, sitting on my floor with my back against the couch. What if I actually can't handle everything? Then you'll figure it out. Like you did before him, she pointed her wine glass at me. You moved to a new city, found an apartment, built a client base from nothing. You think you did all that by being incompetent? She had a point. I started testing my capabilities, aggressively. Changed my car insurance to a better plan, researched it myself, compared rates, made the decision. Negotiated a higher rate with a new client, prepared my pitch, sent the email, got the increase. Planned a weekend trip to visit my sister, flights, hotel, rental car, all of it. Every single thing I did without consulting Marcus felt like reclaiming a piece of myself I'd forgotten existed. Devin noticed the difference at work. We were in a meeting about a month after the breakup, and I'd just presented a campaign strategy I'd developed without second-guessing myself into paralysis. Afterward, she caught up with me in the hallway. Okay, what happened? What do you mean? You just pitched an entire campaign without apologizing once or qualifying your ideas. Old you would have said this might be stupid, but at least 3 times. Had I really been that bad? Yeah, I had been. The thing about confidence is it builds on itself. Every small task I completed successfully made the next one feel less daunting. Dealing with my taxes, which Marcus had always insisted were too complicated for me, took 2 hours in TurboTax. Handling a dispute with a vendor who'd overcharged me? 1 firm email and a phone call. Getting my car serviced? Literally just made an appointment and drove there. None of it was rocket science. I'd just been convinced it was beyond my abilities. Marcus tried to reach out a few times. Texts that started apologetic and ended accusatory. I'm sorry if I made you feel bad, but you're overreacting to normal relationship dynamics. I hope you realize what you're throwing away. You're going to struggle without someone to help you. I didn't respond. What was there to say? He'd revealed exactly who he was and what he thought of me. Everything after that was just noise. 3 months after the breakup, I got promoted. Creative director. The position came with a significant raise, a team to lead, and projects I'd only dreamed about working on. My boss pulled me into her office to tell me, "Your work has always been strong, but lately there's this confidence in your presentations. This certainty. Whatever you've been doing differently, keep doing it." I'd been trusting myself. That was literally it. I moved to a new apartment in January, a 1-bedroom in the neighborhood I'd always liked, but Marcus had said was too complicated to get to from his place. It has huge windows that get morning light, and I decorated it exactly how I wanted. Colorful prints on the walls, plants everywhere, that vintage coffee table I found at an estate sale that Marcus would have hated. It's perfect. Riley came to my housewarming party. Just a small thing, a few friends, pizza, wine, the kind of casual gathering Marcus had always insisted needed proper planning and catering. She found me in the kitchen, putting slices on paper plates. You look happy. I am happy. And saying it, I realized it was completely true. Like, genuinely not trying to convince myself happy. Good. She grabbed a plate. You know what the best revenge is against someone who said you couldn't survive without them? Thriving without them? Obviously thriving without them. She raised her wine glass. To being underestimated. I clinked my glass against hers. To proving people wrong. Here's what I learned. The scariest part about leaving someone who's convinced you you're helpless isn't the practical stuff. It's not the bills or the plumbing or the phone calls. It's the voice they've planted in your head that sounds like your own voice, telling you they were right. Silencing that voice takes time. Proving it wrong takes longer. But every lease I sign myself, every decision I make confidently, every problem I solve without consulting anyone, it gets quieter. And my actual voice, the one that's been there all along, gets louder. Last month, I ran into Marcus at a coffee shop. One of those awkward moments where you both see each other and have to decide whether to acknowledge it. He came over to my table. I was working on my laptop, halfway through a freelance project I'd taken on just because it looked interesting. Hey, you look good. Thanks. I didn't close my laptop. How have you been? Really good, actually, you. He gave me this searching look like he was trying to find evidence of struggle. Something that would confirm his predictions. Yeah, good. Work's busy. Same. An awkward pause. He shifted his weight. I saw your post about the promotion. Congratulations. Thanks. It's been amazing. Another pause. Look, I've thought a lot about how things ended. I think we both overreacted. I don't think I overreacted at all, actually. I said it pleasantly but firmly. I think I finally reacted appropriately. His expression flickered. Surprised, maybe, that I wasn't being apologetic or uncertain. Right. Well, if you ever want to talk, I'm good, Marcus. But I appreciate the offer. He left. I went back to work, ordered another coffee. The complicated seasonal one with the extra shot because I wanted it and I didn't need anyone's approval. That's the thing they don't tell you about outgrowing someone who tried to keep you small. It's not just about proving you can survive without them. It's about discovering you can actually thrive. That all those capabilities they convinced you didn't have, they were there the whole time, just waiting for you to trust them again. I'm sitting here now in my sun-filled apartment, surrounded by choices I made myself, running a team at work, planning a solo trip to Portugal next month because I want to, and I can. My phone is silent. No one checking in to make sure I'm making the right decisions because they're all my decisions and they're all right because I'm making them. Marcus was wrong about a lot of things, but he was most wrong about this. I didn't need him to survive. Turns out I needed him to leave so I could finally thrive. And honestly, I've never been better.